What's up, guys? Noob Nugs here, coming at you with a quick update of the 3x3 tent. So this 3x3 tent is now on a 18 and 6 light cycle because we have the two Caramelisious Autoflowers starting. They're about 1 week out of the soil. They popped out of the soil on the 17th. So they've been just about 1 week. And they're looking really nice, really healthy. These are autoflowers, so they're spending most of their energy shooting those roots down in through the bag. And they're looking great. I haven't re-amended these two pots yet. I'm gonna let the Caramelisious get a little taller, and then I'll throw some amendments in under them. But I often get asked about my amendments, and I don't run all that many, but I would like to talk about like one, maybe each video over the next few updates. I'll just break down one amendment, like what it is, why I use it, and just some uses for it in general. So the first thing I want to talk about, because you'll see it pretty much in most gardens, you'll see it in synthetic gardens too sometimes, but you definitely see it in like every organic garden, and that's kelp meal. So this is some kelp meal from Down to Earth. So what is kelp and why do we use it? Well, basically, to understand kelp meal, we need to know what kelp is, and it's basically just marine algae. So, you know, a sea plant, some kind of seaweed, and there's a bunch of different species. So you'll hear a bunch of different species of kelp if you look into it, but I want to talk about the Pacific giant kelp. In general, that's the one I'm going to focus on because I believe that's the one that is mainly used to make kelp meals for organic gardening. But basically, kelp meals derive from the sea plants, the kelp. The Down to Earth brand that I have is pretty unique because it's actually hand harvested. So they go out to, like, you know, the cold waters in the Pacific, and they hand harvest, carefully dry, and then like very finely mill it down into this powdered kelp meal, and that's how you get it. But you can get kelp in different forms. So if you're running like a hydroponic system, you can get it in like a liquid form. You can get it in like the powdered form, similar to how the Down to Earth comes. Let me see if I can pull out the bag and show you. So, like in a powdered form, and you can also get it in a pellet form. And then, at least with the way that Down to Earth is harvesting this kelp, it is very sustainable, because the Pacific giant kelp is the largest marine plant. Basically, when it is like at its mature size, it'll be like 150 to 250 feet in length. So that's just one huge plant. And even though you think like, oh, it must take forever for it to get to that 150, 250 feet, but it's actually a very fast growing plant, and that's one of the reasons that we use it in our gardens, is because of those growth hormones that are in it. But the Pacific giant kelp has been measured to grow over 1.5 feet in 1 day. So it's growing about 18 inches in a day. We'd be able to like flip our lights from veg to flower in like 2 days if our plants were putting on size like the Pacific giant kelp. So why do we use kelp in our gardens? So as you saw, it has a pretty low NPK rating. It has a 0.12. But that's not really why we're using kelp. We're not using it because it has like an amazing NPK rating. The reason that we're using it is because it adds a bunch of valuable micronutrients, growth hormones, and vitamins to our garden. So these help improve our yields, they improve our soil structure, they reduce stress to the plant if it goes through like a drought, and it also, if you guys are outdoor growers, it can increase a little bit of your frost tolerance. And it supplies 50 different minerals to your garden. And then a couple other small benefits are that it does provide some increased resistance to pests and diseases. And then if you're going to apply it to your garden, you could do so by directly mixing it into your soil. You could top dress with it like I do when I'm amending. You can use it as a foliar spray. You can bubble a tea with it, or you can, like I said, just apply it directly to the soil. You can use it as a root drench in transport to reduce during transplant to reduce transplant shock. And then you can like soak your seeds in it. You know, when you're soaking for 8 hours before you throw them in your napkin or whatever. And even if you're planting things like garlic and stuff like that, if you soak the bulbs for like 10 minutes before you plant them in your garden, it's going to have some health benefits just because of all those growth hormones and things like that. But that's really all I have for today. Hopefully you guys like this video. So again, we have the two Caramelisious Autoflowers growing in the 10-gallon no-till. And right now they are just under the MyGrow 100, and it is up pretty far away. I could have put it a little closer and dimmed it down, but these ladies aren't stretching at all, so I think we have it at a great height for it. But I'll keep you guys posted. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.